Hey everybody, welcome to Aftermath Digital Television here on the YouTubes. I'm Nug Nargang. How are you? I'm fine. And as always, we're joined by Jimmy Carderas, Anthony Corelli, and Sportsnet.ca's Kevin Mickey. Kevin looking sharp in that blazer.
Oh, thank you very much. I just wanted to, impress everybody today, and I hope that I have, and I hope that I will.
I think so. Plus, big ups for the glasses. Usually when the glasses come out, that means some interesting points are being made, so I'm really looking forward to finding out what's going on with these glasses.
This is it's all a ruse. I'm just trying again to look good. It's not going to work.
It's working so far. I believe you so far. We're going to get started with our wins this week on Aftermath, and Anthony Corelli, I'm going to you first. You've got a big win, especially after having this big NXT event this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. The main event with Kyle O'Reilly and the Irish guy there, Finn Balor. It was what I predicted wrestling was going to be back, like in 2004. It's the way I train my students to wrestle like that. It was the perfect fusion of professional wrestling and modern day. I mean, we can't deny the growth of MMA. It's massive. It's everywhere. People are becoming more savvy with regards to grappling and what kind of, real fighting looks like. And these guys meshed it so well where you had legitimate Brazilian jiu-jitsu techniques being countered by classic professional wrestling techniques. And they just meshed together so well back and forth. Of course, the match went on to be incredible and both guys gave it their all. But right off the get-go, that's the part that stood out to me, was that fusion of two worlds perfectly.
No, see, we talk about it all the time on here. You talk about old school pro wrestling versus modern day and the evolution of the product, and there's different ways to go, and there's different presentations. That's one presentation, the more physical, the more hard hitting. I mean, at the end of the match, we saw both guys a little banged up, to say the least, and different styles of matches, like throughout the night, NXT Takeover, for example, it wasn't just that style match, which was very good. It was excellent. I enjoyed that match very much. But there were other matches that were presented in different ways that also worked. So in a sense, not just that match, but I think NXT as a whole is a good, as I say, mix of old school meets new, and it's working.
Absolutely. Kevin, your win also involves the main event match.
Yeah, and obviously I got to go back to the CanCon, that is Canadian content. Delta BC's, the Lower Mainland, Kyle O'Reilly, my winner. I mean, holy mackerel, we have a single star on our hands, and he's part of a faction. Who knew? I think that it's so awesome. And Anthony, to your point, while I was watching that match, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I was thinking of you, and I said, my God, Anthony's must love this thing. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it is spectacular, and I loved it. I loved it for that reason. A lot of NXT matches, a lot of wrestling matches these days, they have 17 Spanish flies, 47 super kicks, 13 Canadian destroyers, and then 49 false finishes. You didn't need all that in this match. It was just a great kind of ground and pound effort at times, great striking, great grappling, great submission holds, great submission reversals. Everything from start to finish was awesome, but I think that it starts and ends with Kyle O'Reilly. This guy really proved that he can main event. He proved that he belongs in the main event, and I think that we could see this go on for a long time with Kyle O'Reilly. He is my win.
Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly secretly is one of those guys that everybody really likes a lot. And he's not, he's in a faction. He's not kind of presented as that main event guy, but he's like the favorite wrestler of a lot of guys that really like wrestling,
Yeah, and to go to your point about the 13 Canadian destroyers and stuff like that, I hate to sound like a broken record. So everything they did in that match, they registered. They sold, they made everything. Those moves meant something. They weren't throwaways where, we're just going to do it because we can. Everything in that match meant something.
I only said that because I knew that, Jimmy, you were going to react that way. I just teed that up for you, and you just knocked it out of the park. Perfect.
Kevin's fitting in already, guys. He's teeing you all up. It's fantastic. And to your point, Jimmy, everything meaning something, everything being important, that's my win from TakeOver, is that every title was defended. And not that you know, oh, we didn't. But there's a lot of people online saying, oh, when we didn't see any titles change hands. But when there's a big time of turmoil right now in professional wrestling, and everybody thinks, oh, NXT is going to change. There's a draft. Are they drafting from NXT? Are they? What's going to go on? Everybody's changing. Everybody thought Damian Priest was going to lose that title to Gargano and then move up to the main roster. Everybody thought Io Shirai was going to lose that title to Candice LeRae and move up to the main roster. Every title was defended, and every champion looks like a strong champion. You don't have anybody losing it on their first title defense. You have these champions succeeding. And yes, Kyle O'Reilly looked amazing against Finn Balor, but Finn defended that title.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, Santos Escobar out of nowhere has a killer match. Like, who's been watching 205 Live? Anybody? But here's Swerve against Escobar is a killer match and completely different from the main event. LeRae and Io Shirai, a completely different match than the rest of the show. The only thing I wished for was a tag team match, just so that we could have something a little different on the show. But every title defended, every champion looking strong moving forward, and a lot of amazing challengers moving forward.
No, exactly. And I was just going to say that really quickly to your point, Nug. Not, you know, people complaining about no titles changing hands, but every challenger that night looked good in a losing effort. But at the same time, like we said, there's a difference between going over and getting over, and everybody got over.
Yeah, and I like the little tweaks on the presentation as well. They just changed up the Thunderdome a little bit. The lighting, of course, is always a bit different. And even in the main event, when they had that stare down and the ring announcer steps into that old school mic that comes down, just little nuances like that. I like them quite a bit.
Capitol Wrestling Center.
Yeah, a nice throwback. A very nice throwback. If you don't know what they're talking about, everybody, Google's not just for Nug. You can look it up. You don't need my password or anything. Jimmy, your win comes from SmackDown.
Yeah, I couldn't pick just one win from NXT. NXT was phenomenal. But on SmackDown last Friday, we talk about veterans helping younger talent, elevate younger talent. And I thought Jey Uso was elevated huge, not only from the pay-per-view Clash of Champions by Roman Reigns, but also Friday night huge by AJ Styles with that big win over AJ Styles. And AJ Styles losing that match does not hurt him in the slightest, but what it did was elevate Jey Uso to another level where now I want to see Jey Uso take on Roman Reigns and you know, shout out to Roman Reigns for the little things that he's doing, you know, the whispering in Jey's ear. But again, AJ Styles doing business the right way, elevating younger talent without losing any stock.
It's so true. I mean, isn't AJ Styles continued to prove time and time again? You almost forget how good he is sometimes, or maybe he's not forget, but it's take for granted how good AJ Styles is. And then he just goes out and has a match like that where all of a sudden Jey Uso proves that he is a star, proves that he belongs in that main event. AJ Styles continues to prove that he is the top echelon of sports entertainers, pro wrestlers in all the world.
Yeah, anyone can get over if given the right circumstances, but when you're the person that's able to make other people, like you're that good that you can make somebody. I mean, Jey Uso is obviously already very good, but I mean, AJ Styles, you can put him in there with anybody and he'll make him look like $1 million. What was that famous match with Bret Hart and that guy that wrestled once and
Tom
McGee?
Tom McGee, yeah. Look at Bret Hart. That's an example. Took Tom McGee and had a legendary match. But now this is interesting. So obviously they're going to we're not supposed to talk about the Hell in the Cell thing yet. But you know that oh my God, is fairy tale moment. The first time it didn't happen, but all of a sudden my brain's like, well, why would they do it twice? Something is going to happen this time, and they got me already, and it's still quite a ways out.
It's going to be a very interesting story, especially they keep calling Roman the tribal chief. I'm waiting for Roman to get that tribe. And if you try and try and try against the chief, I think you join him rather than try again.
That's interesting. But really quickly, you brought up Tom McGee, and I have some Tom McGee story. But I will just say this. Never be in a car with Tom McGee when he's driving. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
Okay. Good life advice from Jimmy Corderas to close out our wins here on Aftermath Digital. Stay tuned. We've got more coming up, our fails, and we're going to chat a lot about retribution.